Hanji, thank you guys for coming back this month. You guys might recognize this guy from, let's see, one of his famous Vasaki videos. Or you might recognize him from Jawani Boiler Room or Young Singh's Boiler Room. And then another one is Nuria's Boiler Room. But what you guys might not know is this Singh has actually served in the army, and this Singh is my very own bestie, Mandeep.
Hello.
Mandeep. So, let's set the scene for the people that don't know you, okay? Yeah. What was it like growing up in Luton? Because Luton has one of the biggest Punjabi communities in the UK.
Well, I wouldn't say the biggest.
Does it not?
No, I mean, like, growing up,
yeah,
the Punjabis that you see downtown, I'd recognise them from the Gurdwara.
Right.
So it would be like a head knock, oh, so so-and-so's
son
or so-and-so, like, do you know what I mean? It's not like now, because I don't know, I don't know about you, but after post-COVID, I think the UK has changed quite a lot. There's quite a lot more Punjabis here, and it's visual. I go to London, I see it on the Lizzie line.
Yeah.
And I love to see, like, it's such an impactful change, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it's like representation as well.
Yeah.
Like, growing up, I couldn't really see people like me about.
Really?
No, not like, if I saw someone like me, I'd know them.
Yeah.
And then you go out, so it's
they're like related to you.
Yeah, so it's interesting to see, like, who's so-and-so? And you start broad.
Masida,
Sometimes you chat to certain people on the list,
yeah.
I think, like, they're like,
do people do that to you? They're like, oh, kidda sing like, do you get that randomly?
I sometimes do that to them.
Oh.
I'm like, and they're like, might be telling me, the Hariya Kadda, like, this, that is how it is. And
yeah.
It's interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, like, because obviously, I don't look like you, right? So I can't just go up to someone randomly on the Lizzie line and be like, kidda sing I think they would look at me like I am insane. But does that bring you, like, do you end up having conversations with people that you might not necessarily have conversations with? Like, because obviously I can't do that even if I see someone and I'm a singer, do you know what I mean?
Not even like Punjabis, even go there. Like, you might be somewhere and they'll be happy to come up to you and be like, oh yeah, you're Punjabi. Like, yeah, we love you. A friend, he's Punjabi. had a neighbour, and like, I feel like our generation or the generation before us has set so much, like, just done so much where we can reap the rewards, and people come up to us and they say these type of things, and it's like, oh, that's nice, isn't it? Or this, that, the other. I mean, they might see us in a certain way, but like, I think it's testament because we've come here now. People know who we are.
Yeah.
And like, it's interesting. Yeah.
So did you grow your hair at school as well?
No, I've always just kept my hair.
Yeah.
My brother's always kept it. So growing up, he'd be like someone I look up to. And then just as you go through life, you kind of have different phases where you do kind of question, or like, it does come into your mind.
Yeah.
Especially when you're like, your daddy comes out and then there's like, oh, so-and-so trims a bit, or so-and-so. And then you're like, yeah, we'll just see how it goes. And then kind of...
Did your parents ever say to you, "Ve nahi rakhna, like, bal, like, rakhne, like, you can't ever cut it"? Or was it like an option for you to decide?
I think it's always been an option. I mean, but my mum always took me to Gurdwara. It's kept me quite involved as well. And then going to Sikhi camps as well in my like teenage years. It's like a place like Birmingham, you see other Singhs like you, but they'll be in a different town.
Have a different accent.
It'll be interesting. And then just having that identity at an early age and knowing about it.
Yeah.
I kind of like just grew strength from that.
Yeah, because that's so different to how I grew up. Jidna main Goriyan naal school gayi si. As in, I used to go to Southall School until about 2001, so main 4 saal di honi aa.
Yeah.
And then after that, we moved into an area which was predominantly white. And I didn't have any Punjabi friends. And I remember, when I Southall School jandi sigi, I used to sing like Chamkila songs at the top of the...
No way.
Yeah, I have a vague memory. I used to sing like Chamkila songs at, you know, like the playhouses. You know what I'm talking about? Like the houses that like are wooden and people used to climb up them.
Yeah.
I went to Featherstone High School, so I don't know if I actually have no idea. I've not kept in touch with obviously any of them because I was like Jar Sal Sigi when I left. But I remember there was this girl called Amrita that joined, and I was like, another Amrita in my school. Like, nah, that's not gonna run. But that's the only time that I had like with Punjabi teachers and Punjabi students. And Minu Yada, when I went to the Gora school, because obviously my parents moved from Southall, they went to Staines. And the culture shock for me as a 4-year-old, my teachers didn't speak Punjabi. Meri Angrezi nahi vadiya sigi, and like I couldn't speak to anyone. I couldn't connect to anyone. I used to cry so much. So like, what was your school like? Because obviously it's a different area. I mean, mine's like, what, 20 minutes away, and it was so different. How was it like in Luton? Did you have a
It
lot
was
of
always
up near like in your school?
very mixed. Gora, Gala, only a few up there. And then those are the ones you kind of know and stuff. But then definitely a lot of other South Asians as well.
Yeah.
And that's just how it was. But I think just from a young age, you kind of get along with everyone. But I was born and raised in a corner shop, innit?
Yeah.
So just that upbringing in itself,
Yeah.
typical, innit? But at the same
course.
time, you kind of do your shifts there, or you see your parents working there. And it definitely kind of gives you a certain understanding of different people, how different people are. And then as you go forward in life, you kind of like understand it, but like subconsciously, and then you kind of realize, or you kind of move like that.
But then my family, my mum and dad had a shop, right? And they had it in Ascot, the most like Gora place that you're ever going to find.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, although my 4 saal di sigi, I didn't really go to the shop. But after that, I used to spend my summer holidays there, right? That was my life. Like, I didn't get the chance to go to Sikhi camp or anything like that because my mum and dad needed help at the shop. Newspaper deliver karne sige, like, who's going to pay the bills? Or it would be our time to go to India. So, like, did you ever spend, like, your summer holidays in India, or what was your, like, year like typically?
There was definitely
holidays?
a couple of times going to India when I was young and stuff. Other than that, it's just helping out at the shop or friends as well, lived in the local area. Like that, really, yeah.
Yeah. Because, mine just wasn't like that. I just remember working all the time. Like, there was no free time. I remember going back to school and then Sarjan again and say, oh, mata Disneyland gays ja, mata, I don't know, Athens or, US gays again. I'm like, I delivered papers to Gary Lineker's house. Like, that was that was the highlight of my thing. Like, and not even in his house, like outside his gate, just putting it into the thing. But did you guys do newspaper rounds? Or was it
didn't know.
Did you not?
But I did.
That's the worst.
I did go to Disney World when I was young.
See, I didn't go until I was like 20 something. I went with my girls because obviously I never got to go as a kid. But it's cool that your parents were still, like, were they up for exploring and holidays and stuff? Because mine just weren't.
It's just everyone was at that age, and I think it's like, Dad, we might as well go. Or stuff. But it was, it's interesting because sometimes you forget. Like, my parents took my nephews probably like a few years ago now. It's like Sweden, and they've got a camper van and stuff.
Oh, cool.
And I saw all the views and see the experience there, and I was like, oh, that looks good. I was like, and I'm like, I went to Disney World when I was young. I need to rein it in a bit. Why am I getting too like?
Yeah, like, why are you doing that with them and not with me?
I mean, bring out the albums. I had so much fun when I was young as well. Sometimes you forget. You just need to.
See, mine's the opposite. My parents were like, come, that's it. Come, 24/7, come. Even on my sister's wedding, shop nahi band karni. Like, they always used to run it themselves. So we had to get someone to keep the shop open because they were like, shop nahi band karni. And I was like, it's your daughter's wedding. We've known these people for like 10 years. Like, Ascot's very, they know the owners by that point. I was like, if we're closed for one day with notice, like, what's the...
But it's sort of kind of like... the locals know who runs the shop, innit?
Yeah.
And then it's like, is it the Galia, innit? Come on,
that was what it was like.
You can't shut the shop, innit?
You can't shut the shop.
Wait, even Christmas Day, we had like 3 or 4 hours. We used to keep the shop open. And
100%.
You'd have customers in them 3 or 4 hours, maybe like crates of beer or a Cranberry sauce and stuff. But they'll be so happy that you still had the shop open. Because...
But no pata hunda si, like, Tesco's is not open, Sainsbury's isn't open, like, none of these other places are open, but they're like, the corner shops sing, and them lot, they'll be open. Like, they all knew, you know what I mean?
100%, yeah.
Oh. But I mean, I guess that comes from, like, obviously we don't celebrate Christmas as, like, the whole country probably does redeem Christmas. So I guess that's obviously playing a predicament in our family, being like, why are we taking a day off when we don't take a day off for like someone's wedding, you know?
Yeah.
Like, why would we take a day off for Christmas? But I mean, now it's different, obviously. Our parents, obviously, even your parents worked so hard. But let's go back to the beginning. So obviously you grew up in Luton. Your parents had a shop, went to a lot of Sikhi camp. I just mentioned, as I introduced you, that
Yeah.
you actually served in the army. When Mandeep told me this, I was like, what? And I must have known you for 5 years by this point.
Oh yeah, at least, yeah.
Had no idea. And I was so shocked. I was like, Ki, you? Like, I was like, because look, as the clips that you've seen earlier on, even you guys would be like, oh, he's just a fun thing. Like, you live life. Like, you are one of those friends that I have that genuinely lives life to the fullest. And we were having this conversation earlier that ਸਾਡੇ mum and daddy ਇੰਨਾ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਕੇ like ਥੱਕ ਗਏ ਸੀਗੇ that they didn't get to enjoy, and we've kind of gone down the route of, okay, we've seen what that's like, well, let's change it and kind
Doesn't
of
mean we
enjoy it a
don't
little
work
bit.
hard.
Exactly, yeah.
We
that
still
is a
have
good
to
point.
work hard, but
We do work hard.
when it comes to it, you still have to enjoy because you appreciate.
Yeah.
Don't know what can happen tomorrow, so you just gotta enjoy it while you can.
Yeah, of course. So what sparked your interest in joining the army?
I think I've always been interested.
Really?
Yeah, just like, you know, you see World War One, World War Two pictures with like the things and like Egypt with like the pyramids in the back, or there's so many different things out there. And then
Did you hear about the 1897?
oh yeah,
like
Shada
the
Guri.
21 Sikhs,
Yeah.
against is it 10,000 Afghan? They defended the post for against 10,000 Afghanis,
Yeah.
right? And that's like one of the 8th. Is it like the bravest stories of UNESCO? Like they still redeem it as
It's
one of the
up
8th
there.
bravery
Even if you look
stories.
at how many Victoria Crosses has been given to like Sikhs as well, or just Punjabis,
Yeah.
it's up there.
So did you hear a lot of these stories from like mum and dad, or?
I think it's just growing up, or you kind of learn about these things here and there, and then it goes back to like finding yourself or finding identity. I think a lot of people do that there in their later years, but I was always doing it when I was growing up.
I have to admit, mine's come later on in life. Like my whole interest of starting the podcast, mera ji karda si ve. I'm not as connected. Obviously, hun ਆਪਾਂ ਬਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਆਪਾਂ ਮਾਂ ਪਿਓ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ, and we're like, they'll tell me stories and I'll learn. But I didn't grow up with that. Like I said, like we were mainly, mum and dad were working all the time. Like gal kodo karni sigi, like they were in the shop from 4 to 11. So for me, this is so different that like you've had that upbringing that you kind of knew about these stories.
It's kind of just going to like maybe get hearing about it here, or finding out like reading a book there, and then it kind of definitely shapes you. Then got to a point in my life where I kind of did the whole thing, went to college, did a year in uni, and then I just dropped out. I mean, I felt like I wasn't academic. I went back to kind of square one. I'm like, hold on a second, what do I want to do? What could I benefit from as well doing, and what have I had an interest in? And then I was like, you know what, do it now, and I can join and see what happens.
Did you learn about it at school at all? Like Minu Yada, when we were learning about World War One, I came home and I was like to mum and dad, I was like, Mum, Dad, like we're learning about World War One. This was the first time that I got exposed to Sikhs in the army, was when my dad was educating me, and he was like, actually, your pardada was a doctor in the army. And he told me that actually he only wrote in Urdu at that time, because when you had to learn back in the day in Punjab, when the British came, they ruled Urdu as like the main language. And he was like, so obviously where my pardada was a doctor, he learned in Urdu, so he used to write in Urdu quite a bit. And when they started telling me, I remember my school le gayi, and I was like, you know, there was like 81,000 Sikhs that died in the World War One, and it's so shocking. You know, the percentage of turban Sikhs in the India World War One time was 2%. They made up 20% of the British Army. Over 100,000 of them were wounded. 83,000 died, you know, serving in World War One. And it wasn't even our fight. But when you hear stuff like that, you're like, why isn't this taught in history? Like, we learned about World War One.
Yeah,
I don't know if you did.
Post BLM, there is a big push to talk about it a lot more, and there is definitely a lot more there. Especially, I've heard of it being taught a lot more in history class and stuff.
Yeah.
But I remember even when I was on room inspections in training, I'd always have like pictures of like the Sikhs, how they wear and stuff. And then when troops sergeant used to march around and then have a little galbat, I'd be like, oh, so what's that then? And then you could have that little time with them. And most of the time, the captains, they would know because they come from Sandhurst and they're officers and they know about all that legacy because they've been taught to them.
So this is while you were like training?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, wait, let's go back to the beginning. I'm so sorry. We keep jumping. But okay, when was the first time or how old were you? Odo tu sochya bhi, haan, I want to go to the army, I want to serve.
I think I was about 21.
Okay.
Yeah.
And was there anything that like sparked that?
I think I've always been interested. I thought, you know what have I got to lose? Let's try it.
And did you tell your family, like, what did they say? What was their reaction? Were they not like, the doctor banna, lawyer banna, engineer banna? Like, because it's not actually, I kade bhi nahi sunya someone like mum and dad be like, but you need to go do X years in the army, right? Because obviously there's so much trauma that comes down from World War One and these wars that we fought, even though we were one of the greatest armies back in the day, it's not really encouraged. Hana, like these days, like मैं तो कदे सुनिया नहीं, mum and dad कहन वे पुत तू army ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ join कर, like I don't hear it.
I think I knew it would definitely help me in the stage I was at in life.
Okay.
So I was like, what can go wrong? And then they definitely saw me making the effort to pass the test. I was going out running and I was definitely making more going to
Like
selection and
conscious
stuff.
decisions,
And
yeah.
yeah, they could see that as well. So they could knew my like heart was in it. And then they was at a time as well. It's like, Gus Bono's in the goods, Gus Garo, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Gus Bunker the Gao, like.
Yeah.
So I couldn't just be sitting at home doing nothing. I had that driving inside me. It's like, you know what, I need to do something now.
Yeah. It was like a higher calling to be like, I
Yeah,
need to
or just
do, like it
try and
aligns
do
with
the
me.
next step that's going to try and better me.
Yeah. So did they ever try and like talk you out of it? Even your friends? Like, did anyone say Vinay and they're like,
Nah, because I think
Really?
at that time, just people in their later years of uni, my friends, or going into graduate jobs, and I mean, everyone was doing their own little thing. So I think at that time it was quite, I wouldn't say easy, but you could just kind of do your thing and see
No
where
one
it
really
goes type
knew.
of thing.
Okay,
Yeah.
fine. Yeah. So then when you finally joined, so you started trying at 21. How old were you when you first started going in?
I think I was about 22 when I did my basic training. Yeah, even that was quite...
What's the process like though? Like
So you
joining? Like what do you do?
You do 14 weeks of your basic training, and then you do.
But do you need to
7
like
weeks.
sign up somewhere before you do that? Or do you need to get accepted to something?
You sign up at your local kind of office.
Okay.
Then they might take you on a taster course. Then you have to go sent to like a camp to do the physical tests.
Okay.
And then you have an interview with someone, and then it goes on from there.
It's a lama process or is it quite short?
Yeah, it can take a while.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what did you, like when you, was it like a letter? Was it like an email to kind of say like you've been accepted?
Pretty much emails, yeah.
Emails, okay. And then like, I'm assuming it's kind of like a job where you come in, have like your induction and stuff or...
Oh, it was so interesting. Like the first day, like everyone's getting dropped off, and then yeah, like you have to change, and you're everyone's in overalls, and then everyone goes through a kind of process. But it's even that process is quite interesting in itself. Yeah, because you're just kind of grouped together, and it's like that's it now, isn't it?
ਤੇ ਹੋਰ ਕੋਈ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਸੀਗੇ ਤੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਜਾਂ?
Nah.
Really?
No, not in my initial basic training.
Yeah.
But I remember when I was probably about 3 or 4 weeks in, we was going on a run around camp. There was another regiment there, and there was a sing there, and I saw him, and he saw me, and then he kind of like, yeah, go on, sing type of thing. And then like maybe like
The
9
typical
months.
nod that you were
Yeah,
getting
9 months or a year later, we met each other properly, and then like
Right.
from that we became good friends. But then he still brings it up like, I remember seeing you in trading, and them little things you kind of remember because it does spur you on.
Yeah, of course. Like I'm thinking of my career, right? I found it hard at the beginning because ਮੈਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਕਦੇ ਦੇਖਿਆ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ ਵੇ ਉਹ ਮੇਰੇ position ਚ I want to be like them, right? So that's what I was trying to like get out of you. Like, did you have like
You know what?
granddads or something?
It's
like...
funny because in training, obviously there's a window where you'll be there, and then you might go back to your dorm with everyone, and then there's a window where you can leave, and you go back after a day, and then somebody's go there like, oh, this is long, oh, I don't want this, and I'm there, I'm like, I've had worse gala and jutti off my parents. what you, is this
We used to get beat.
not beat,
Chappal
but
naal.
just generally? And then you kind of look back and you realize, like, I think generally as Punjabis, your tolerance or what you can deal with, I don't know if it's a good thing or not, because people might say there's trauma there, or
Yeah,
you know what they
yeah.
say, Ajkal.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you look at it in a good way, it's like you can kind of harness that.
Yeah.
Or I kind of, that was the first point in my life I was like aware of it. And I'm like, hold on a second, like
You're mentally
if
strong.
these people feel like this, and I don't feel it as hard as they're saying, maybe I've got a certain level of tolerance or a certain built up kind of thing where I'm like, because I don't
You didn't
think,
expect
I
that.
didn't really have many other times in my life before that where I was like, I wouldn't say better you than you, or you don't really compare people, but I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And
Because it's like, ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਆਪਦੀ ਮਮ ਨਾਲ ਪਿਛਲੇ ਮਹੀਨੇ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦੀ ਸੀਗੀ, and she was like, they used to get beat with a sotti, you know, like, and ਧੁੱਪ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਖੜਾ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ, and all these things. And she actually said on the podcast, like, guys, look, I didn't say it, but she said kids these days are soft, right? And then obviously to them, we are, because we've had the privilege of growing up in an environment that people are aware of these things, and they're like, you shouldn't do that. Or, you know, like parents nowadays, even in India, like huntani sotti nal kuttide, like that's pichhle like galna that they used to do that. So, but it's still crazy how, okay, even though we didn't get the same punishment as our parents, we still have that mindset of
but it's
being
like
strong.
if you go through it, you learn from it, and then it makes you stronger. So you don't say, like, as Punjabis, we're never the victim. We never look at us like, yeah, you've done me wrong. I've done like this. Yeah, why am I like this? You kind of use it to grow, and you kind of use it to
Yeah, we
better
kithe
yourself.
galat gayi sigi. What could
Yeah.
I have done better about the situation? My parents, look, my teacher ne phone karna kare. Oh, Amrita did the X, Y, Z. They would never doubt the teacher. They would be like, Amrita, you did it. And I mean, the teacher said that you did it, so you did it. And even though, like, look, I went to a very, very racist school. Unfortunately, yeah, it was bad. But so obviously trying to explain that to my parents, I was like, but you know, like that teacher really doesn't like me, and they just didn't understand. They were like, we don't care, then you need to be better. Like, what could have you done in that situation? Like, explain us the situation. फिर तू आपदे बारे सोच भी तू की गलत किता. What could have you done even better? You know, like, how could you have diffused the situation? And we kind of get
I
taught
think
that.
so many of us grew up with that mentality, especially because if we've grown up that in our generation, imagine what it was like for our parents' generation, where it was so much more racist, or so much more.
Like the
And
Southall
you had,
riots, like,
yeah.
that was crazy when I hear about it now. ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਹੁਣ ਵੀ ਆ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ, yeah, like we've got the England flag coming up everywhere, and let's be honest, it's not a symbol of being proud to be British. It has got an uglier meaning to it, which I'm not gonna go into, but
I mean, even that, like, it all depends of what reference you give it. If you wave it when England are playing, it's no harm, isn't
that's
it?
different. Yeah.
Yeah, but then if you wave it or die, then it's like, oh, what's going on here? I
Yeah,
mean,
like ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਸਾਡੇ road ਦੇ ਸਾਡੇ area ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ there's a hotel, okay, and ਹੁਣ they want to convert that hotel so that they can have it for, and it's specific for men refugees. And I can see why there's a problem, because a couple of meters down is a primary school, right? Next to the hotel, like in front of the hotel, so whoever has rooms at the front of the hotel has direct views of the park. On the other side is another park. So yes, I understand why people would protest, because why just men, right? Why would you make a hotel just for men? And then you hear all these stories, you know, about Jeffrey Epstein, sorry, and all these things come out, and it's like, okay, yeah, not all men, but enough to make you worry about your kids, you know? Like, you don't want that kind of... And I'm not saying those refugees are about it, but I could see the concern of being like, we don't want a hotel full of men, specifically men, next to two parks and a primary school. I can understand why people would get concerned about stuff like that. But then it's like, how do you deal with that? Like, how do the government then navigate that? How do they deal with other issues that they have on hand? Like, Are there solutions? I don't know. But how it gets trickled down to then becoming a race thing, I think that's where the issue then becomes. Because I think we can all agree that we wouldn't want a hotel of men next to a primary school. I think no matter what
I
race
think
you
that's
are.
just basic common sense.
Right.
Yeah.
But then why it then comes down to colour, yeah, like that's where, you know, people start making assumptions when it's like, actually, we support you too. Like, I don't want my niece walking to school past a hotel because then, for a minute, they're like that. Actually, no, I want to drop you to school. I don't feel comfortable. Don't know why. I'm not
Yeah, 'cause
blaming anyone.
Then it's harder for a kid to grow up and be independent because they've been
But
maybe
the
mollycoddled at a young
exactly.
age.
But then we hear of these things. Did it like it also came up in the podcast with Mum? I was like, were you not scared back in the day because you never used to hear about these things? Internet wasn't that big. News, it's whatever they wanted to show really. Hun said that internet aa gaya, TikTok aa gaya. Like you have 500 sources of information. Facebook did they kiss it, and I'm like, Mum, that's fake. Like,
AI is too
AI, yeah,
much.
they can't tell, but they have so many sources of information that it's like, but now we're over informed that you have that
You
done.
worry too much. This is why sometimes you just got to put your phone down and just live and just experience the world. Because if you focus on your phone and you focus on the news, you think about what the news is. The news is everything bad that's happened, and they're just telling you it. You don't
Yeah.
know where it's happened
In
bad.
concentration as well.
Yeah.
Like bang,
Like,
bang,
oh,
bang, bang, bang.
no, but if something really bad happened in India, they'll tell you at the very end. But if something mildly bad happened in America or Europe, they'll tell you at the start, innit? And that's their agenda. That's how they see things. Luckily, we maybe got PTC. You turn to PTC, they might tell you a bit more. Then you try
Big
and
up
get
BTC.
more respect, and then you turn on to Twitter. Now it is X
Yeah.
or whatever, and then you try and get more respect from. But even that, sometimes you gotta take it away.
Take it with a
Live.
pinch of salt.
Yeah, but then just live. Khul ke naal, just, and then you'll see your reality that you see.
So, okay, so going back to when you were in the army, I remember reading somewhere, and correct me if I'm wrong, je tusi pag ponne hunde si in the beginning ages that they only allowed it like more recently, like Pella they used to make you wear the beret and stuff. But hun they're like, okay, if you wear the same coloured turban and then you put the badge on top, then it's okay. Was that intact when you
I
were there?
remember,
Or?
so on one of the first days, you go down the issue stores and they're giving you all your kit, and obviously they saw me and they asked me how many meters, and I was a bit like, huh? And then I was like,
Trying to size you
oh,
up.
and I was like, oh, okay, about 4/5, and they actually had,
You knew what they were talking about.
yeah, like a
Okay,
bug,
yeah,
and
yeah.
then they kind of had like an actual material there of colour,
Wow.
and they gave it out, and they actually gave me a bug at the stores there, and I was just a bit like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that was sometimes quite nice, but I know
Yeah.
now it's a lot better because I've already got my friends and they've made pamphlets and booklets, and it's a lot more easier for young things joining, that they have all the information there, and there's a lot more stuff. But even with gas masks, so you know if there's a chemically, biological, nuclear environment,
Right.
they will train you for that. There's like certain drills and certain procedures, and you're supposed to wear a gas mask. So one of our things would be going into a chamber, and they'll make you do a test with your gas masks. And they'll put CS gas. It's like tear gas, basically.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But then even before doing that, in training, they were like, we're not too sure if it makes a natural seal, because you'll
'Cause of
obviously
the
have a
bug.
daddy, and then like these like trim, so there's a natural seal. So it's like, oh, maybe if you put a bit of Vaseline, you should be okay with certain things.
Right.
But then this is what I feel like, if there's more Sikhs in the army, they could probably get that better gas mask.
Yeah.
Because I think in the Canadian army, they have got it now. If you look at the defence minister, he is a Sikh, and they do spend a lot more money getting them type of equipment and stuff.
But it's also research, right? How can you do research if there's not that many people affected? They only really do these kind of things if it's like loads of people affected. It's the same
Yeah.
with anything. Like if there's enough
100%.
people affected, then they're like, oh, we need to address that problem because it's an actual issue. So did you ever get deployed? Like what was your time like in the army?
Oh, I didn't get deployed anywhere, only for exercises.
Okay.
So I did one out in Cyprus for about a month.
Oh, cool.
quite a few different ones up and down the UK. But it's interesting. So my middle year in the army, I was actually worked with the reserves in recruiting in Bristol. So that was just going to, well, helping the reserves and then going about to different places and telling them who I am or how the reserves can help them and stuff. Kind of links into like who I am and then that perfect person, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
E&D,
the friendly
and then,
guy.
Yeah, no, but like it ticks all the boxes, isn't it? Like
Yeah,
that's the poster boy and stuff.
yeah.
Like even like some of my friends or all the other Punjabi used to be in uniform, used to do nugget and stuff like that, or do little things.
So when did you decide to leave that then?
It's probably just after my minimum service came up. I think there was a
Acha, so there's like, ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ sign up ਕਰਦੇ ਆ, there's a minimum amount of time. ਕਿੰਨੇ ਸਾਲ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ?
It's about 4 years. Yeah.
But what if you wanted to leave before that then? Like,
I mean, there's ways you can, or if you really plea and stuff.
But ਉਦਾਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ like, as a rule of thumb, ਵੀ 4 ਸਾਲ ਕਰਨੇ ਪੈਣੇ ਆ.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
But I just mixture of things. Obviously, I was talking, I was helping with recruiting. That was in Bristol. So for like a whole year, I was in Bristol. And I was kind of like I feel like that was like a year that I was kind of like at uni. Do you know what I mean? Because I was there.
Bristol community.
I had my office hours, but then I was in a city and I was exploring, and
it's quite a like uni city as well, right?
Yeah, and then so going from that to being back at camp the year after, I just felt like I was missing out on my
like family
my life, innit? I feel like life goes on. Every time I go back home, I was like, oh, something's changed in the house, Mum. We got new flooring or cupboards are different. Do you know what I mean? But you feel like life's passing you by, and then even though you're doing stuff, there's a whole world around you. But then I feel like I gained a lot of experience as well. Especially catching up with like cousins or family after months, and they're like, oh yes, you've changed or this, and I'm like, really? I can't see it, or I don't know how I have. I don't know. I guess I probably am more confident, or I do things that I don't, and then people be like, oh, that's quite brave, or that's quite, and I'm like, oh, is it?
Well, you know, okay, so I had a mentor when I was about the same age as when you joined the army. Obviously completely different. I did not do anything near what Mandeep did, but but my mentor used to say to me, she was like, I want you to do a personality test every 6 months. That every minute, if you don't change, then I'm not the right mentor for you, right? And I think, obviously, my parents don't know what a personality test is. They wouldn't tell me to do that. But actually, as you get older, especially during those early years in life, you have to change. If we're not changing, we're not growing. How do you get more wisdom if you're not changing? When you gain more wisdom, you change your ways, right? You grow out of these childish things. So I was actually going to ask you, after joining the army, obviously there must have been like strict regimes. I know they can be quite like, you have to do this.
To this day, like when I wake up in the morning, I just feel like it's a bit of a rush because I'm like, shitty, like I'll brush my teeth, go downstairs, not even that. I'll have breakfast when I'm at work, and then my mum and dad are like, oh, you're so rushed, or take some time now. Okay, don't worry.
Mornings are about slow.
Like, no, quicker, get out there, quicker and get things done.
Yeah.
The more time I've got, and then I don't feel like it, but then that's kind of like how I am sometimes.
But has that come from like your military service?
Definitely.
Is that what they're like
then? If I've got a free day, that's different, girl, isn't it? Shitty girl, but it's, if there's things going on and there's things planned, or even if there's, if I'm in an environment and like, you can feel the stress coming under.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll use it as like motivation, or I just...
You turn it around.
Yeah.
But that's come from your service then.
Yeah. But then you see other people with you and they might crumble, or you can see signs where they're not used to that. But I don't know. And there's that. And then if I'm in an environment, I see someone doing something and they're doing it so slowly, or they're like, just...
Does it irritate you?
100%.
To be fair, it irritates me, you know, though shitty to see, like, I'm like walking to work in the office, my late hundiya, let's be honest. Sare Punjabi, we're always a bit late. That's
that GMT time, isn't it? Jinnah Maradi time.
It's so true. Like 9 baje kam shuru karna, main 10 baje pahunch diya. But anyway, like, you know, when, like, I'm still rushing, right? 'Cause at least I made it 2:45 and not 10. At least I made it before 10. But there's always one person in front of you that just walks so slow, and you're like, move, man. Like, so I can get it. If your mornings are like naturally, and that's what you've kind of grown up with, is like to naturally be like, get everything out of the way
It's not
quick
grown
and
up
then be
with.
done.
It's kind of you
As in,
learn
like,
it,
what you learn,
and then
yeah.
and then
You
you
apply
kind of roll
it.
with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can get why you get irritated at slow people.
And then there's that, and then there's seeing things being done. I'm like, I could do that better. But then you're not in a place to say.
Yeah.
Because obviously, if you're behind the counter someone, you're paying money, you ain't going to be like, oi,
Hurry
do
up.
this like this, do that like that. I'm not
My
gonna...
mum used to do it, actually.
Really?
She was like, you know, ਜਦੋਂ ਗੋੜੇ, like, they pay for something and they pay with cash, yeah? They'd, like, open up the whole batua and ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਝ ਦਿੰਦਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਸੀ. Mum would be like, obviously it's £3, let's say it's £3, like 49. Some people would just get, and mum would be like, put it on the counter, and she'd just take it herself, because she was like, she would just do math so quickly in her head. So yeah, I
feel like
I don't know if that's a Desi thing though.
It's the reverse now. You give the cash to the people, and they're so used to tapping the card, and then they've got to do the maths. It takes them even longer. And I'm like, oh my god.
Like, even like, look, guys, I'm an actuary, yeah, and you asked me about my times tables. I mean, I could do it, but it would take me like, it won't be as quick as you think it would be, right? Because we use Excel. Excel ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ formula ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ, ਆਪਾਂ ਉਹਦੇ ਤੇ ਹੋਈ ਕਰਦੇ
In
ਆ.
Excel, I was just thinking calculator.
Oh no, I use Excel, obviously models and stuff, but I know how to do the formula. You asked me to do the actual equation. It's probably quicker for me to wait, open the Excel, put the formula in, and actually do it. And that's what I've been doing. But yeah, I mean, the only holy grail for me is, although up a shop the vich kam karde si, mum used to actually, when I was younger, she would make me stand at the till. I used to have to type it in on the till. People would give me the cash. And back then, people were so patient. It wasn't like now. You know, like now, if a kid was standing there and I gave my cash and I had to wait 10 minutes just for them to figure out how much I'm owed, I'd get annoyed, right? But people back then were so lovely. I don't know if it's just Ascot in general, though. Like, they're just so calm.
It might just be London, innit?
Yeah, like, London is just... Obviously, ਆਪਾਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਦਿਨ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਨਾ.
Nutbud's life, innit?
So, like, obviously, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਥੋੜ੍ਹਾ ਕੰਮ ਜਾਣਾ, they're getting paid sitting at home. So, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਭੱਜਣਾ? So, yeah, like, back then, mum used to actually make me work it out mentally. And then I also had Aman Viji, shout out Aman Viji, that used to, like, sit down and teach me a lot of maths. So, that's where that kind of maths thing comes from. But it's quite interesting, right? Like, when we're talking about what we're like now, but if it wasn't because of our past experiences, we wouldn't be like this. Like, if it wasn't for your military service, would you be rushing in the morning, or would you be a bit more like me and get to work at 10 o'clock? Or
Yeah, but I think it's part of life. All of these experiences you have, they make you just the person you are, and then you just, as that goes on, you can't stop though. You've always got to be looking for something that inspires you, something that, like you said, something that changes you, something that makes you think differently. Like, if me and you had different views, I couldn't be like, oh, do Trump support kar diya, main Biden, chalo, bye. Like, that's
you should be able to sit there and have
I want to learn
debate
about why you think like that.
Yes.
What's your upbringing?
Yes.
What's your life been like? And then we can understand each other, because
100%.
that's how life should be. We should just understand each other. We shouldn't be like, oh no, you're right, I'm wrong. Like, it's not black and white. It's just different shades of grey, and then you can understand the world around you once you understand people you come across and how the world moves, isn't it? Like Yanda said, all this Epstein book, like it's just it's crazy.
But like, it's exactly what I said earlier about mum not being like, you need to understand your teacher's point of view, and tuki jade vadiya kar sakdi si, or how could you have behaved that was differently? And it's like, it's the same thing that we apply now, right? Like, I have friends that have different political views. I am able to sit there and actually debate with them. And kade, like, Mandeep knows me, there will be a view that he'll says, yeah, and I'll 100% agree with him, but I want to play devil's advocate, and I want to be like, okay, I'm going to play the other side and be a debater. And one of my personalities now, one of my recent tests, is a debater. So, like, seeing people's points of views, because as we've now discussed, sometimes the way that we think about things comes from how we grew up or our childhood or something that we've lived through or something that we've gone through, or could even be the trauma that our parents had and they've passed on to us, you know? So it's
But
so
then it's almost
important.
like, where do your views come from? Is it one way of thinking, or have you met many people that have shared them views, or have you met people that share different
Always
views so you can
agreed with you.
understand them, so you can
Yeah.
understand different points of views and give different arguments? There's so many different things, but it should be life. You understand the world around you, you can understand how to move in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think another thing that just brought that up is my parents, if they didn't get along with a certain relative or whatever, we'd know, yeah. But they'd say to us if we're at the party, they, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਫਿਰ ਵੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬੁਲਾਉਣਾ, ਉਹ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਨਾ ਬੁਲਾਵੇ, ਫਿਰ ਵੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਬੁਲਾਉਣਾ. Yeah? And I'm like, why? They talked crap about you or whatever, you know? Like, I don't want to say hi to them. They'll be like, but it's not your fight. That's our fight, you know? And it's like, as much as my parents are all for family and support, they put respect above everything, whether it's to their enemies, not their enemies,
no.
but
But
like,
there's still, it's like, if your dushman comes to your car, you still have to like,
you still have to give them a bit of
like, or
respect.
Barney or whatever. You
Yeah.
can't just be like, I don't like you. Just do one. You
Yeah,
can't,
I'm not opening the door. I see you outside, and I know you've seen me. But I'm not opening the door to you.
But I think it's probably a bigger move, isn't it? It's like, yeah, what are
Yeah.
you saying? Do you want a drink? How about you? Like, or anything like that.
Yeah.
It just clears it straight out of the air. And then, but it's interesting, all these little things, because I think it goes back to, you can't let your ego win. You've still got to be the human. And then if you go to them with that energy, you see how it's reciprocated. If it's reciprocated in the wrong way, you can learn. But then if it's reciprocated in the other way, then it kind of makes you think.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Like even the Super Bowl. I don't know if you watched it,
Sort
but
a few things, yeah.
yeah, like Bad Bunny, he was obviously walking with all the flags and stuff, and he was like, he had the sign above him, behind him, and it was something like that love is basically stronger than hate. And it's the same kind of things that our like family kind of instill in us. But yeah, sorry, we digress. Afterwards, right, after your military service, you kind of went into other things. So if you don't know, Mandeep's a model.
Done a few things.
What? Dibbled and dabbled?
Dibbled and dabbled, yeah.
Dibbled and dabbled into a few things. How did that come about? Like, after you left the army, like, what was it? What was life like?
I kind of just trying to find a career that stuck, but also realizing I think there was a part of me that was like, hold on a second, I've missed out on like quite a few years of life where I was in my prime that I didn't really have. So some of that was like chasing that, and then meeting people, and then just getting along in the right type of way. Yeah, a couple catwalks.
I love that. No,
It's funny
that's
because
amazing.
it's something I never knew I'd do it, but if you're somewhere, you'll be like, oh, you got to always try something once, and then it's the people you meet, it's the things you go through, and I'm like, it's definitely something that, it's like a chapter in it.
Yeah.
Like my army life was a chapter, maybe the other partying and modeling. Like I'm not one to let it define me. I'm not being like, that's a label. I'm like this.
You're gonna
like
do that now.
It's something that's definitely made a mark and impression, and I've learnt from, and then it's made me the person I am. And then we'll see where the next journey or the next chapter goes. That's life, though.
Yeah.
Like that's, as you get older, you just hope there's more things, and you become as best as a self you can. So anyone you meet or anyone you can talk with or have a perspective on things, you can just use your past experiences, and hopefully they can relate to one thing or another thing, and then.
So what's one piece of advice before we leave everyone? What's one piece of advice that you can give everyone to say, you know what, if you could do this one thing, do it? Like, what's one thing that the viewers and stuff can apply to their lives?
I think it's just like gratitude. Like attitude, like your gratitude should be the highest thing going. And I think you always got to be grateful. Like, this too shall pass. You know, it's like, it's so easy for you to say it like, oh yeah,
Hard
like
times aren't the end; they're the beginning or the middle. Never deem it as the end. You'll always go through
but
it.
imagine it. I mean, there's a song, you know, the Streets, Mike Skinner. It's called "On the Cliff Edge." Said it's about someone who's on a cliff edge, and someone goes up to him, it's like, think about it, like if every ancestor on your mum or dad's side passed down and gave you life, that's how you like kind of survived. You think about that for a second,
Yeah.
or even just put your hand where your heart is and feel that beat. Like,
Yeah.
that's life.
Their decisions are why you're here today.
But it's so easy to say because when you're in a bad place, nothing like your head
You're
can
stuck.
it can make you feel like, nah, there's no getting out or this, that. Everyone had bad days, but
Yeah, of course.
it's trying to get out of that and it's motivation or doing it, innit?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Right, I'm sorry, but that's the end of the podcast. Mandeep, listen, we're going to have you on again because there's so many things
Honestly,
that I
I'd
didn't
love to
ask you.
be. I feel like I need to ask you. Like, you've got experiences where you come out with one or two things, but
Yeah, no, it's all good. It's not about
yeah.
me. It's about kind of getting the stories out there. And of course, if anyone or any of the viewers have any stories or any experiences as British Asians or British Punjabis that they want to come and share, please, 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 please give me a DM. I'd love to have as many guests on as possible and share these stories and, you know, have conversations that spark. So thank you all so much.
Thank
Mandeep,
you.
Loved you for having you on
No worries.
and see you all next month.
Bye.